Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I want to share with you an update on my land leasing. And if you don't know what that means, it means that I am playing the game of land within Splinterlands, and I'm using plots of land that I acquired from Azarkon. Azarkon is a major landholder in Praetoria, and he has, I think, at least a region. A region is 1,000 plots, and then he wants to activate as many of those plots as he can, and so he's trying to move some around. This is the region 10 where Azarkon owns, and as we look at the map here, if I only 10 of these plots are mine, and these are them with the little huts on them. But everything else in this map is Azarkon's, and he hasn't sold any plots, so they're all Azarkon's. And why would he do this? Why would he give me plots of land? Because he actually wants me to work them, and as I work them, I'm gonna earn resources for myself, and he gets to get a piece of that pie through taxes. That's how the land system works. There's keeps and there's castles, and those keeps and castles on this region of land take taxes from the workers. And so he has given me these plots of land to work them, to see activity and production from them. And why would he do that? Why would he entrust me? Because he literally had to give me these plots of land. Why would he do that? Because he wanted not only the production, but he wanted to see some of the cost savings. There's a cost savings to him. We'll get into that in a minute, but I just want to say this is what we're talking about today. If an update on this sounds good, stick around. Otherwise, check out the next video. Yeah, why would he do that? Like, I mean, why would he give away hundreds of dollars of land? That's what he had to do. He literally gave these NFTs to me, and I could sell them. Like, I could sell them, and I could say, to hell with you, and you know, that he would have no power or authority to stop me because he put these NFTs in my hand. But why? So why would one take that risk? I talked about some rent that he's going to get, these plots being active in my possession. Is that really worth it? What kind of rent would that be possible? I mean, from the production that I'm making, like, the rent is not meaningful. I mean, it's not huge. All of these 10 plots of land, which are probably in the neighborhood of 10 times 20 bucks, $200 US worth of land just given to me on a weekly basis, maybe 200,000 in grain. And I actually don't know how much tax he gets out of that. It's not a ton. Is it 10%? I don't know. Is it 20? It's something, obviously. But I tell you what, it's not paying for it. It's not nowhere near paying for the $200 for the 10 plots of land he gave to me. But here's the thing. He didn't permanently give them to me. And secondly, he did some degree of vetting to check who I am and whether or not I'm going to like just take his plots to sell them. And hopefully you guys, if you're watching this video, you know and believe that I'm not going to sell them. I'm going to keep them in good faith and work them as best I can because I actually see mutual benefit out of doing so. But it isn't a ton of pay. He's taking a pretty substantial risk. Is the only thing that he's getting out of it sort of the taxes from my grain production? No. And I want to clarify this because I do wonder if everybody understands this. Yes, you know, as a keep holder or a castle holder, you're going to tax me, and there's that bonus for a person like Azarkon, but also in this context, there's the bonus of not having to put 460,000 DC into these 10 plots. So that's what I had to sink. $460 has to be sunk into this tract to enable the production that I've arranged here, and that's because of the cards that are on there and the energy they're producing and so that's a $500 cost right there. He gave me $200 worth of land. I sunk $500 worth of DAC into it. He gave me $200 worth of land, and I sunk probably, I don't know, $3,000 worth of cards into it, $4,000 worth of cards into it. I could go and price every one of them by coming in here and checking on manage and then looking at each of the cards. But I don't know the number off the top of my head. It'd be pretty neat if that was a tool somewhere, guys. By the way, Splinterlands or whoever has coding capacity, it would be pretty neat to see not just the DEC that's sunk in here, but the card valuation. And of course, that would be like checking markets, so it would be regularly updated. But these are no joke. Like, these are good cards, and I did my best, and some of them I've done better. But these are not cheap cards, and so it's hundreds of dollars worth of cards, and it's hundreds of dollars worth of DEC that he doesn't have to spend. And that's why one would want to lease land, right? Of course, you got to have that trust and the confidence that I'm not going to disappear. But once you have that, if you can equip me with your land, then I actually work it for you, for us, then you're going to see benefit without cost. There's no cost to Azarkan. He is except the trust factor. Once he gives it to me, if I return it to him in 6 months, which is part of our conversation in our deal, then he's lost nothing and he's gained assets. Not only that, but I've put buildings onto his plots of land. I put every one of those buildings now has a grain. Is it called a grain farm? Yeah, grain farm. And that's like an asset in some sense that he gets to keep if I do return it to him in 6 months, or if that's what he asks from me. And so I guess this was just maybe to explain land leasing more than what I'm doing. But as you can see, like I am producing, just to give you a little bit of the numbers, what am we producing? It looks like my surplus on production is for a 100% claim would be my surplus on production would be 290,000 grain, which is to say that if I waited till everybody's capacity was at 100%, which you don't usually do, but let's say you did, I would eat so much grain to feed my workers, and I would produce a lot. I would produce a surplus of 290,000, and of that grain, there's a tax on it. I don't exactly know the number, but that's just free and clear. And I sold 250,000. To give you a little more context, I sold 250,000 grain into the marketplace, which is pretty easy to do. You just press the plus sign and you just switch the grain so that you're selling grain for DEC. And I can show you again, 290,000 grain is worth 2,600 or 2,700 DEC. So this is not making me rich, and it's not making Azarkan rich. But the cool thing about this is that this is I think this is the next phase of land in some sense, because it's the pathway toward activating more plots of land is bringing more people who want to activate land into land. That will be done when barriers are pulled down for receiving land. It can't always be trust systems like this where Azarkan has literally given me the resources, the NFTs, the land plots. But we will get to a place where this is no longer necessary and people can just work it. And this might feel trivial on a weekly basis, but I'll tell you, it's something. And for a person like me who believes in the long-term valuation of card assets, as well as DEC stability, as well as they want to grow what they're doing in land, not just make this, but like, what about iron? What about, because that's the next stage, wood, stone, iron, and there's going to be other resources. How about Aura Labs? All that's possible in the context of the conversation. This is just the beginning framework of what I've started with Azarkan. Grain you need to have, and then I'm going to look at wood, and then I'm going to look at other things. And if he's still happy, we'll keep going, man, because I am happy to receive, and I'm happy to sow into an environment that is rewarding me. If it can be quid pro quo, we both mutually benefit. That is going to be a pathway towards greater development of land and greater success within Splinterlands, because it's going to mean a lot of things like locked up DEC, locked up cards. Those aren't going to be accessible in tournaments or rank rewards, and that leads to probably more card purchasing because people need more assets. And so all this it's all synergistic. Everything about Splinterlands and why it's really such a genius enterprise is because everything about it is synergistic. SPS with DEC, card prices with token prices, the different ranking experiences are almost mutually exclusive. If you want to play in modern, you build a certain deck. If you want to play in wild, you build a different deck. If you want to play in survival, you got to have multitudes of cards. All of these different angles create one factor: demand on the assets. And while I understand that our valuations haven't grown radically in the last while because our player base hasn't grown radically, I would submit to you, and we'll close here, that the excitement that we're pointing to within the context of land or the rank experience or the game development is really the one piece that's missing on this sort of to ignite the kindling that we have built is truly player adoption. And I'm convinced that is a factor of token price appreciation. And therefore, if SPS goes up, people come. And I think SPS will go up. And so then I think people will come. Plus, I think the game is great and it's improved so much, and I've enjoyed it for years. So for all those reasons, I'm bullish. And yes, I want to position myself as deeply as I can in the world of land, the world of Praetoria. So a special thank you to Azarcon once again. And guys, I will do this from time to time, give you a bit of an update. This was a bit more heavy on sort of the why he would do it, why I would want to do it. But I'll, probably do some shorter videos in the future about how I'm going, because I don't expect, if Azarcon will allow it, I will expand my production. Just not right now. Conclave Arcana is grabbing too much of my attention and requiring too much of my DEC. So that's an update, guys. I hope you have an awesome day. Yeah, God bless.